So I don't know how much the two of us know about fundraising. Um, One thing we could do, if we think we don't have a lot to say, is I have this on like next meeting is Cinco de Mayo, but we could break out some of these other topics to be, singular discussions before then. And there's also the topic of like, how long do we want? There's Saturday versus Sunday, and then there's how long, and then there's some decisions to make about the Cinco de Mayo stuff as well. So, I don't know what your thoughts are on fundraising.
Right there. This would be great, but how?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a lot of different ways that you can do it. Again, once you're a 501c3, you have more options. But there's like Krispy Kreme donut sales. There's all sorts of things you can do. So,
well, I mean, I think our greatest advantage, right, is to use the bands, right? So if we're a 501c3, then we have a show, and some portion goes to the band, some portion goes to the organizer, and to the venue, and to the whatever. But I like donuts.
Yeah, I don't know what the rules are. Educational, faith-based, charitable, community-based. So I don't know how they're determining this. This might be useful information, whether it's donuts or not. So that's why I'm sort of, what sort of like, are they looking at tax status? Are they doing their own evaluation? Like, surely somewhere they defined education. Okay, what qualifies? Okay, so this is charitable. So you support community-based activities devoted exclusively to charitable, educational, recreational purposes. Seems a little loosey-goosey. So, things like, so this says 501c, but to be a charitable organization is a 501c3. So,
right.
So I don't know why they just didn't put 501c3 in there. I feel like this is a little ambiguous for people that aren't familiar with the statute. But
well, they're saying, I think the charitable is the confusing term, right? Because they should call it nonprofit.
No. So the 501c3 is the charitable organization. Right. The other ones are nonprofits, but they're not charitable organizations.
Right. So that's what I was saying, is that maybe they should, instead of saying charitable, they should say nonprofit, and then at the end say nonprofit organization.
I think that they're excluding all of the other 501c though.
Oh.
So
well,
like
if you're saying C though, then it's all nonprofits are included if it's just 501c.
Yeah, right? But they said charitable, so
yeah, that's
501c3.
Right.
So
did they screw up by not putting the 3, or did they screw up by saying charitable instead of nonprofit?
Yeah, I guess fair enough. It's ambiguous regardless.
Right. But I mean, if they're taking money, the only big question is, can the person giving the money write it off on their taxes?
Well, no. For this, the question is, does Krispy Kreme allow you to fundraise? That's the question. Because if you're a trade organization, the way I read this, then you cannot use Krispy Kreme as a fundraiser because of the word charitable. Trade organizations are not charitable organizations.
Right.
But
weird.
Yeah. So I mean, maybe we could be a recreational organization without 501c3 status. It is, again, I think, up to interpretation how. So proceeds must be used within the United States. So that's, something to consider as well. Yeah, I mean, doing a show, and having some way to do that probably makes the most sense.
It seems like that would really work, right?
Potentially. I mean, you've got to
you could do that online too.
Yeah.
You could have a place where people could donate.
Yeah,
as they watch
true.
The show.
That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess the question is it worth trying to do something before having a status? Or should we,
what's going to cost to get the status? How does that?
Depends on a lot of variables, but the filing fee is.
And if you do it, you do it by state, and it's generally good in other states, just not countries.
So, if you're, so there's a couple layers here. Okay, so there's state level nonprofits, which are completely separate and not at all related to national nonprofits. So, there's also B Corps.
Yeah.
So,
blue sky.
There's different ways to go about it. So, that would be, that there, that could potentially be something that we want to look into. So, just. So that would be, again, something that, potential.
Yeah, what's the difference? You can do the profit-seeking things, but you have some extra requirements or something? Is that...
Yeah. So basically, to get certified, you have to demonstrate high social environmental performance, make a legal commitment to, basically not just being for shareholders.
Right, for stakeholders. Okay.
Yeah, and and then there's certain transparency aspects. Which, I mean, we'd have all of these things,
right,
with the 501c3 as well. Just
right. Seems like the question is, what do we get out of B versus?
Yeah. Well, I mean, people, are not, if you a lot of people, they might buy something from Amazon, but they feel a little icky doing it,
Yeah.
And so the B certification is supposed to make you not feel icky. So that's the idea.
Right.
So.
But I don't see us as really selling anything.
Well, I mean, we could sell access to, if we, come up with some sort of Spotify competitor, we could sell
Yeah,
access to that. I mean, we can sell shows. There's a lot of things that can be sold. I mean,
yeah.
you know,
I would see more we're facilitating all those other things and getting and help in the capacity that we're able to help with that. People would donate to make that happen.
yeah. Um, so basically, every state's going to have some sort of nonprofit statute.
And those get, in general, those get you the federal status.
No, you have to apply separately for federal status. So
but you also have to do the state, depending on what
you have to file something at the state level, but you don't necessarily have to file. I mean, filing as a Minnesota nonprofit would probably be a good indication to the IRS that, it's a nonprofit organization.
Okay.
You still have to dot all of their I's and cross all their T's separately, but,
And you can't just do the federal one.
No, I mean, you have to be an entity in a state.
Got it.
So you have to incorporate or be an LLC, which is strictly speaking not a corporation, but
got it.
Doesn't make any sense to be a LLC and then try to be a 501c3. It doesn't make any sense. So you have to file as a corporation in a state to be a legal entity, and then you'll get like an employer ID with the IRS, and then you would file if you want separately, for one of the statuses with the IRS.
Okay.
So, I mean, yeah, maybe there's like, certain states maybe would have like, I mean, like maybe like California nonprofit status has like more like juice to it. I don't really know. So this is talking about,
Right.
your IRS status, but might still be worth checking out. I feel like there was like something else, another like status that places had that was like in between.
B Corp.
Yeah, but there's like a status outside of the B Corp though, that maybe
not a nonprofit somewhere.
Yeah, maybe I can't remember what it's called. Maybe it'll link to us from here. Benefit Corporation. Here we go. So there's a B, but so
that's not a B Corp.
public benefit. Yeah. So the B Corp, that certification is not a legal entity. That's like getting like an organic certification.
Okay.
That's like a standard. They're an organization that does standards, but these benefit corps, a bunch of states have them. So Minnesota is one of them. So, if we wanted to say like become a distributor for the vinyl that Net Labels produce, or something like that. That would be something we could do, with benefit corporation status. I think that'd be a little, not this. I mean, the way it would just have to be like couched as like a fundraiser if we were a 501c3. I don't think it really limits us. But we wouldn't be able to, again, the 501c3 standard is reasonably stringent. So this is kind of like, the idea is like, you just don't have to deal with all the bullshit. So that's kind of the idea by doing something that's less stringent. So, so yeah, here's the B corporation, the certification. So,
okay.
which is separate. So. So yeah, so you can see these are some that are benefit corporations, change.org, TED, Kickstarter. So, they've filed as, trying to make a difference in the world, basically. So, I guess it's kind of hard to know what, numbers we would get at a show if we wanted to just do like a show. And then I guess the other thing is like dealing with payment processors and stuff for like a live stream or something if we wanted to just do it live.
Yeah.
I don't really know.
Yeah. Not sure if that would be different depending on nonprofit versus.
Oh yeah. No, I'm just sort of getting back to let's actually like.
Oh, the money.
Raise the funds. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know. People have like, I don't know. Yeah.
So, I mean,
PayPal's.
Yeah, I don't know how you. So like you can do like Patreon exclusive stuff. I never really messed with that.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to do that. I would think just if you want to give, you can give. If you don't, you still get it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean we could try something like that, just donation. I don't know how well that'll work, but I guess then there's the question of whether or not to do that like separately. So I mean we already have CCMA, we have Net Label Week. And then, I mean, right now we just have the like July 12th stuff. So, I mean, like.
I mean, we would do that. I mean, I would think we tie that all together, right? So, I mean, I think we would want to have status first, but if we did, then we could say that while we're doing those things. We could say,
sure,
we're a nonprofit. If you like what you're doing.
I'm just thinking about
support the artist, but also
about timing. Like this is like a conference. I don't know, like how many donations are going to get for that. This like if we're trying to like promote the artists, I kind of feel like the fundraiser kind of takes it away from that.
Okay.
I mean, like if it, like if we're trying to make it about these people that had like a great year, then
yeah, okay.
Like I don't know, just
I can see that.
I mean, I guess the thing is like we're talking about these artists and stuff, and like they didn't sign up to like make us money,
That's true.
So yeah, it feels a little weird. I'm not saying we can't do it. And, we could also, I mean, I think like if we have a whole week on Net Label Week, so, maybe we have the conference the first weekend, and then we have like some sort of, or maybe this is on Saturday, and then Friday night we have the show, the fundraiser show. So I mean, I guess my concern is that just like time and how many people we have involved. Like, can we really pull off both of these?
Yeah, well, I like what you're saying about the CMAs, not talking about it during that, but I would think during any of the Net Label Week stuff, we could talk about it.
Yeah, but I mean, are people gonna donate at like a conference? Like, what is our attendance gonna be at this? Just don't know if the draw is gonna be big enough to really actually raise any funds.
Yeah, I mean, but what is it? I mean, we just have a thing that people could give to at any point at 3 a.m. and they can
Sure, I mean we
go on
can
the
have like
website and give, right?
yeah, sure, but
So I guess the question is how hard do we push?
yeah,
Push it all. I can see not pushing it all during CMA, and I would see.
yeah, yeah. I mean, obviously that like is a Rhino discussion, but like he's already like doing stuff Friday night, so like maybe that Friday night we figure out like doing the fundraiser, and then we'll have the more cerebral stuff the next day, and then the stream starts on the 13th for us. Yeah, so leave a note in here about I mean, I don't know at what point like maybe this is a discussion for another time, but when do we like hire somebody to like like a fundraising consultant or something, like
yeah, not anytime soon.
I mean, I don't, like somebody with like nonprofit, any sort of like nonprofit experience, I would think would know a little bit about fundraising. But I mean, we just like again, like the local stuff for like small things. I had a lot of success. I mean, we just what I did in high school is so I was at the North Carolina School in Science. So I can't talk. North Carolina School of Science and Mathematics. So we had, which is actually part of the university system, but we had buses that could like take us places, and we could or vans, I guess, and we could like schedule those if you were a student organization. And so what we did was we would go to shows at concert venues, and then we would I think we went to 2 different shows that the organization just completely paid for everybody on the van. Wow. And then we had like money left over at the end of the year to like have an ice cream party too. Like we were like, for like our scale, we were like phenomenally successful. But our scale was pretty small. So, and we were going to like, like punk shows. We weren't going to like, Taylor Swift shows.
Right.
So, the tickets were cheap, but nonetheless, it seemed like a resounding success. So, I mean, that's the level of fundraising experience that I have. So, I mean, I think there might be some possibility to have some success locally, but like the digital, like get people to your site and get them to click the pay button and type in their credit card. I have like no success at that. So
Yeah, credit card is a
was that?
I feel like credit card is an extra mile. It's just I don't know. Yeah, but I mean, people do have credit cards saved in their like browsers now too.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, do we think it's worth setting up a Patreon? I don't know how hard that is.
I don't think that's hard. It's just they take a percentage.
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean,
I just don't know what
any processor is going to take a percentage, but
yeah, but I don't think they're just a processor. I think they think they're giving you something, and I don't know that. I think, yeah, I think a lot of what Patreon does is they're holding some things behind a paywall.
Well, you can do,
Yeah.
like member gifts and stuff. I mean, so,
Right.
And there might be some cool things that we could do for like, like behind the scenes stuff.
Right.
We were already talking about like having some way for people to like pick the next show. I mean, so let's see. So
I guess my question is, how does are there, I mean, if we had a nonprofit status, we have to have a bank set up tied to that nonprofit, right?
Yeah.
And so to me, it feels like a bank today that sets up a nonprofit would have an option where you could just log in and pay or something. Maybe not. I feel like Patreon might be adding another layer that we're not sure we.
Well, I think the thing about Patreon is though you can set up like recurring, like, hey, I want to give $5 a month or $10 a month. So
yeah,
that's one way to do that. So I need to click on there.
PayPal can do that too, though.
Yeah. So like,
right.
Early access. So even if we're like, releasing something, like maybe we're selling, like show tickets, like in person live, come to the venue tickets, and they get early access. That could be one of the privileges. And they put Discord on access on here, but like you don't have to be a Patreon member to be a Discord member. That's just like advertising their Discord, which is maybe not a terrible. Maybe the Patreon is just like, hey, we're an organization. Oh yeah, who is this? I don't know if people just like stumble upon Patreon, but maybe that's.
Well, don't they usually mention it? I mean,
well, I'm just saying like there's some potential for like like here they're using Discord to they're using Patreon to advertise their Discord.
Right.
That's all this is doing. So like maybe there's an opportunity for us to do something like this, like I don't know what that is off the top of my head, but maybe that's like something we could think about doing. But
I mean they're using this. I think there's a person who, I don't know, stumbles upon this and thinks they do need, Discord. Oh yeah, I'd like to be part of their Discord, and then does one of the, does, let's say, the lowest level just to get Discord access, and doesn't realize that even if they didn't do this, they could still get into the Discord. Right?
Yeah.
That's what you're saying. And to me, that's not cool.
That's yeah. Yeah. Yeah, of course you could always. I mean, it's just like $2, so
sure,
you could always just cancel.
Just $2. I agree.
Yeah, maybe initially, it was for just Patreon members, and then they changed it, and they never changed it. I don't know.
Right.
But it's just, this is one that I looked at kind of recently, and was at the levels. So like, the top level, then like, I think this is a pretty common one. Like, you pay at the highest level, and then you get name dropped. So that's easily something that we could do. I don't know what we would call them, but
Yeah.
I think there's potentially some opportunities there. Become a creator. Finish my page. What did I ever set anything up for? Oh yeah, so for yeah, so I set one up for like Music Manumet, and yeah, years and years ago.
Yeah.
For the Lawcast piece that Nick and I did. I wonder how you like. Yeah, so we can just start over from scratch. This might be a way to, like, before we have status, like, figure out, how people are interested in giving us money. So,
do we need to be careful about that, or?
Nah.
Okay.
I mean, like, as long as, like, I guess the only thing that would be careful of is, like, making sure that, like, those funds are, like, accounted for.
Right.
Like, what they were used for. But I don't think that'll be hard to deal with. So,
my experience with the Patreon stuff is just that you just don't know. Some people want to use that. Some people want to use Libra Pay. Some people want to use something else. Some people want to use
yeah. No, I get that. So,
like I don't even know what I have right now. Coffee or something I think I use. So
Flatter was big for a little while.
Right.
I think Dogmazik had a Flatter on their page. Okay.
So that's I've said it a million times. We need a protocol somehow.
Oh, yeah. The problem is that somebody will decide that it's not the protocol. They don't like something about the protocol, and then they'll start a new one, and then
yeah, but at least it's something.
Yeah. So,
look at Blue Sky. You could have. We had something for you. We had something that's been going for years, maybe a decade, and you had to come with Blue Sky, and now you want $30 million to prove that you guys are decentralized. Fuck you.
Yeah.
When maybe probably not even $1 million has been spent on Fediverse so far. So what the hell are we doing? Anyway, but they had to do their own thing, so I get it. Okay. I'm sure
I don't know how much
to do with VC money. I'm sure it has nothing to do with that.
Yeah, I don't know how much the old status net. I'd say there's probably there might have been $1 million. Evan had like a consulting company around it.
Oh, we did? Okay.
So, yeah. So, yeah, New Social, but before New Social, it was StatusNet. But yeah, he had his StatusNet.
Laconic
Yeah. So they raised over 2 million.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah. So so StatusNet, they got money from First Capital, Bold Start Ventures, Inovia Capital, and Montreal Startup. So yeah, and then they kind of decided that wasn't working, and then they got Pump for the protocol, and then
A new social, I know.
yeah. Oh yeah, I remember Post Active was there for a minute.
Which one?
Post Active.
Oh, I remember Diaspora.
So yeah, but so I mean, yeah, people have been working on this stuff since well, I thought we had like a 2008 or 9. I mean, when it was Laconica was like 2008. Yeah, so here's articles from 2008. So, but in any case, it's yeah, much different world than then. All right, so I mean, there's also the potential for. I mean, I guess we should talk to Josh.
Did you guys mention who's Josh? Oh,
He's like, I don't even know if it's right to call him the lead singer, but
okay,
he was at one point the lead singer, but Juliet has taken a lot more singing duties. So.
And they're in France.
Yeah, and they're in Paris.
Paris.
So he'd probably be down to do something. My wife was talking about going to Paris in May, but I think she got disillusioned with air prices. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know, like, I mean, maybe we could get Tom on board for something. Cheese and Potsy are always down. I mean, they're like administratively probably borderline useless, as you saw on the call order earlier, but
they're fun.
Yeah, exactly. Let's say just show up and do some raps for us. They'll probably be down for that. So, so, you know, like they said, they live in, and I think he said the armpit of Japan. That's what they called it.
Have you talked to Conan Neutron at all?
I have, but not recently.
Okay.
So yeah, there's like an idea for, you know,
he was like handling the merch
Milwaukee.
He was handling the merch for Resurrections.
Yeah, I mean,
seems cool.
I don't know if there's somebody else
has a shit together too.
That would be like other than Rhino, that would be like if one of these people would be interested in like making that happen again. Then there's like, they're not doing CC music anymore, but like if we could get them involved, that would be super cool. You know,
mentioned them, yeah. They do a show, they do a festival or something.
They do what?
Did you say? I think you've told me before. Lords of the Trident. They have like a festival even.
Yeah, so Ty does Mad with Power.
He's got organizing chops.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know organizationally wise how much time he's got
Sure.
for that, but they might be willing to be part of a show. I think he's got his hands full. And I mean they're touring, and it's not really where I wanted to go, but that works. Yeah, so I guess they've only got the one coming up. Oh, but yeah, so Ty was singing with the Sonic, the Sonic musical. I don't know if that's any on Lords of the Trident stuff.
Sonic video game musical?
Yeah.
Really?
No, I don't know if they've got anything on here about that.
They say the movie's better than you would expect, right? I don't know.
Sonic Symphony. That's what it is. So there he is.
Crazy.
To his Insta.
Oh, you know what?
No, it's still Lords of the Trident. So yeah, it's sometimes difficult to untangle Ty from the band. But so this just links to the Lords of the Trident thing. But yeah, so
we need a section on the website that was mentioned. FC Works Sofa was mentioning it, an FAQ thing, and then I remember we were talking about basically explaining to musicians why it makes sense to do CC music, and I have no idea how to write that.
Yeah.
Except it's awesome. Beyond that, that's
yeah, I can write something about that. But so I talked to Ty about joining Black Sonic, but they wanted to make sure that they had Japanese distribution, and that wasn't something we could guarantee them. So
I remember you telling me about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but he, like I said, he might be down to interact with some folks, and they're a metal band, so the people that are going to a Lorenzo's Music and Cola show might not be exposed to them, right. But they're fun. They're not Slipknot.
Yeah.
So I think they might be all right with that. But yeah, I don't. He's not gonna organize it. It's just not gonna happen. Yeah, and then I don't know what split wise what the Battle of the Bands.
Yeah. There you go. Oh, high school bands. Okay.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, it seems like a different.
Yeah, I mean, so this is basically sort of what we're talking about. I mean, this is kind of what we're talking about. It doesn't really tell you
Right.
what to do.
What's expected, you know?
I mean, I would suspect that for most fundraisers, the bands just donate, but
Right.
and that's probably easy for like Tom and his band because none of them are like that's not their job. But like Conan, I don't really know what Cola's doing for Resurrectionists. I don't know what their situation is, but Conan and or the Trident, it might be a little more complicated.
For sure. No, I think it's, I don't know.
Yeah.
I would think we'd be doing so many at some point eventually that just taking a tiny, I don't know, a small percentage would be reasonable. But
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it really like, I mean, ultimately, like if we want to get like, what we really need to do is we need to hire like a real executive director, like a full-time person. So like, you know, fundraising that's a significant amount of funds.
That's the problem.
So let's go ahead and call it here, take a break, and then we can talk about music tech.